For a transcript of this episode, training plans, and more, visit marathonsfortherestofus.com. Hey, Coach Carl here with Marathons for the Rest of Us. This week I'm going to be tackling the question, should you include hill repeats in your marathon training? And I think this is a really fun question because for most people, hill repeats are a really love-hate thing. Either it's your favorite speed workout to do or it ranks just above a root canal on your personal list of things that you'd like to be doing. So let's look at a couple big picture reasons why you would do hills, when you should include them, and how to get the most out of them during your marathon training. So there's two main reasons why you would include hill repeats in your marathon training. The first is to get faster and to use it as a speed workout substitute or to use it as a variation in your speed workouts. And the second reason is to prepare for a hilly marathon course, right? If you're going to be running a lot of hills during the race, you want to make sure that you run hills in your training to prepare for it. So let's look at the question of using hill repeats to get faster first before we look at preparing for hilly courses. I think there are a few awesome advantages to hill workouts. The first is that they're very time efficient. You can get a lot of work done in a very short period of time. And so because of that, they can be really helpful if you're pressed for time during your marathon training. Let's say you're doing your workouts during your lunch hour or something like that. You can get a great workout stimulus in on hills in a much shorter amount of time than it would take if you were running on flats. Along the same lines, you don't need a track to do them. So they can be done in a lot more different locations and different places and a lot more conveniently for a lot of people than track workouts can. The third is that they help build strength, they help build explosiveness in a somewhat safer way than, say, explosive weightlifting or plyometrics or things like that. So it can be a good compromise between including those types of training in your training and the speed workouts. You can kind of kill two birds with one stone and do it in a relatively safe and responsible way. Also, hill repeats can be adjusted to fit a variety of different experience levels and fitness levels. And hill repeats can be a great workout if you're doing a workout with a group because a lot of times you're running them for time rather than any specific paces or distances. So you tend to stay in one place a little bit more, you get to cheer each other on and help support each other a little bit more with hill workouts than you do with some other speed workouts. And then the other advantage to hill workouts is that they're awesome and they're a ton of fun. And of course, your experience and mileage may vary with that last one. But generally speaking, yes, I think you should include hill repeats in your marathon training unless there is a really compelling reason not to. And the fact that you hate them may be a really compelling reason, but I think that there's a lot of benefits to including them even sporadically throughout your training just to vary up the speed work and get a little bit different stimulus in. Now, if you're talking about doing hill repeats to prepare you for a hilly course, I think the answer is a little bit different. It may be surprising that I'm less inclined to include hill repeats when you're preparing for a hilly course than I am when you're just focused on getting faster. Of course, all the benefits that we just talked about with hill repeats in terms of getting faster carry over if you're preparing for a hilly course, and they may help strengthen your legs so that you're prepared for the hills on the course a little bit better than you were if all your speed workouts were on the flat ground. But I don't think hill repeats are the best way to prepare for a hilly course. And the reason I say that is because hill repeats are not very race specific. Generally speaking, with a hill repeat workout, you're more or less sprinting up the hill or running at a very fast pace, and then you're stopping and you're walking or jogging back down to the bottom, and then you're stopping for a little bit again, and then you're sprinting back up. And it can be a really effective way to get a speed workout in, but it's not great at preparing you for what you need to do on race day on a hilly course, because you're not going to be sprinting up the hills on a race day course. You're not going to be jogging down them. You're certainly not going to be waiting at the bottom for a little while before you go up the next one. And so as far as preparing yourself for what you need to do on race day, if you're trying to prepare for a hilly course, I think that there are better options out there. And one of my favorite ways to do this is what I call organic hill runs. And by organic, I just mean it's not artificial in the way that hill repeats are. You're taking the hills as they come during your route and you're dealing with them the same way that you would during the race. So what I recommend is doing a hilly route of, let's say, 4, 6, 8 miles, something like that. And when you get to a hill, you're gonna run strong up the hill, and then when you get to the downhill, you're gonna relax on the downhill. So you're not gonna be jogging on the downhill, but you're gonna relax down it. And those terms are pretty purposefully subjective rather than giving you specific paces or effort levels to hit. But the important thing is that it's not a sprint up followed by a walk jog down. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to teach your body how to recover while still running. So we need to be able to run up that hill at a relatively strong effort, and then we need to be able to recover from that while running a reasonably quick effort on the downhill as well. So we can't be teaching our body that after every hill we're going to get a long rest period like we do with traditional hill repeats. Now in practice, one way that you can apply this is to say, I'm going to hold X minutes per mile on this run no matter what hills come. So let's say you're running your run at 9-minute pace. You want to hold that on both the uphills and the downhills. So obviously you're going to have to work harder on the uphills to hit that pace, and you'll be working easier on the downhills to hit that pace. But that can be a way to add a little bit more structure to this idea of stronger and relaxing on the downhills, is to say, I'm just going to maintain a consistent pace throughout this run, even though the effort will vary. Now you can incorporate this same concept into some of your long runs, and I would really encourage you to if you are preparing to run a hilly course for your marathon. And I think the other thing that you need to do is that you need to include marathon pace work on a hilly route that's similar to what you'll do in the race. If you keep practicing your marathon pace on a flat route and learning what that effort feels like on flat ground, that's going to be of very little use as soon as you get onto the hills in the course. So make sure you do some longer runs with that strong hill running. Make sure that you include some marathon pace work on a hilly route so that you can know what that effort level is going to feel like on the uphills at marathon pace and what it's going to feel like on the downhills at marathon pace, and prepare yourself for the race specifically rather than doing the more artificial hill repeats. So there you go. The overall answer is yes, I do think it's helpful to include hill repeats in your training. And particularly if you like that kind of workout, you can include it, pretty frequently in your training. And if you're trying to prepare for a hilly course, I would encourage you to think about the hilly route runs rather than the hill repeats, because I think that those will prepare you more for what you need to do on race day. And if you really like hill repeats, you can always supplement those as a speed workout rather than specifically preparing you for the hilly course. So I hope that helps. I hope that information is helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. My email is carl@runningcoachcarl.com, or you can leave a comment below on the video. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know that too. Love to hear what you guys are thinking about and the issues that you're struggling with in your training. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.